And if these controls are correct, and they often are not, I believe that we are live. Buenas noches, gente. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas y bienvenides a Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en vivo. This is, as always, Isidro Montalvo Espinosa. With me, as always, is my co-host, the redoubtable Luisa. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing great. I love this stadium we're seeing. Stadium park? I don't know which would be the
Either
correct
one.
term.
Yeah, either one works. I did just realize that I forgot to update the stream info. This is what 1 week off will do to you.
Mhm.
And we've got today the Zumbadorcitos de Vieques are coming to visit the Malditos de Naguabo. This is a regional match. We've got this is the Liga Veraniega de Principiantes, the apprentice summer league, as it's called in English, but nobody calls it that because English is not a good language for baseball. That's
Mhm.
the main mistake this universe made, letting Anglos near the best sport on earth. And
Can't disagree there.
yeah. So what you've got here are two teams of 22-year-olds at most. I think there might be a couple 23s snuck in there. Typically speaking, teams are allowed to roster a 23-year-old if I forget the exact rule. I think if he turned 23 after a certain date, you can roster him for that year. I don't know why
Okay.
that's a thing.
What about this? What about this idea?
Oh, here we go.
They give. You know how all racehorses have the same birthday? Well,
Mm-hmm.
what if all the prospects had the same birthday? What then?
This is interesting that you mentioned that because this is the one and only time I will be discussing noted piece of crap Malcolm Gladwell on this broadcast.
Uh,
But what I am going to mention about him is he talks in his book Outliers about how hockey players that are born earlier in the year, or sorry, star hockey players are disproportionately born earlier in the year
mhm.
because if you're slightly older than the other kids, right, when you're 5 or 6 or whatever, whenever Canadians are starting their kids in hockey, that's a big advantage, right? you're
Yeah.
you're physically bigger, you're more developed, so on. So eventually they actually changed the rules for how they reckon age in the Canadian junior
Mm.
hockey leagues to deal specifically with this problem, and it has since balanced out.
Okay. Very interesting.
Unfortunately, that is an artifact of human input, and we are dealing with Out of the Park, which goes out of its way to be annoying about these things, as you well know.
Hmm. Yes.
So, on in black, green, and purple, we have the beautiful uniforms for the Zumbadorcitos facing, coming to the literal ninth circle. That is what this stadium is called, El Círculo Noveno. Uh, Taking the ferry from Vieques, which is one of the islands off the coast, to the main island of the Puerto Rican archipelago, to visit their regional rival. The Malditos de Naguabo ended last year in second place in the region, in their part of the Liga Veraniega, and are looking
Oh,
to
nice.
try and make the playoffs this year. If I remember correctly, I'm actually trying to remember who won the division because I don't think it was any. I don't think it was either of these teams. I can check very quickly. It should not take very long. Let's see
You
here.
say. Hopefully.
Stalling. It was Trujillo Alto that won the division.
Okay. What is their team name?
The arrecostados, the recliners.
Oh, very nice.
Supposedly
Is this
because mhm.
like beach lounging? This sort of vibe?
Supposedly it is because there were no benches where they waited for the buses and trains and so on, and so they would
Oh.
just, recline on stones or whatever they could find.
Huh.
It's a thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
There's a race
Hmm.
out there, yeah. called the Recostao. It's not a marathon, I don't think, but I forget what it is called. So Will asks, by the way, hi Will, asked, whoa, where are we? That bridge. Woof. Woof is one of those noises that I'm never quite sure how to interpret when rendered as an onomatopoeia. But what I will tell you is we are right next door to the Navegadores Stadium. Not far away at all. Most of these teams,
Wow.
they basically build their stadium right next door. Sometimes even in the old team's ballpark, they would just start using that one because in that way, they hadn't started doing this yet, but eventually some of these teams would actually do the thing where they kind of sell you access for the day, so you could come and go between both games if you wanted to.
Ah, that's fun. Like Disney theme parks.
Exactly.
Nice.
So we should go ahead and get things going here. As usual, we will have plenty of attractions other than the baseball, which should be fun. Most of these guys are in some version of development. The Malditos in particular are loaded with top prospects up and down their roster. So we should see some interesting stuff from them. I'm especially expecting to see Francisco Boucher over there in center field really show off today. And we'll see what we can expect from Trevor Ransom at first base, Oswaldo Latenchi in his sophomore year, Ziyad Mazin in his sophomore year, and maybe even the rookies like Ryan Rodriguez will have something interesting to do. But before we do that, before we read the lineups, before we have first pitch, before any of that stuff, before we tell you about the history of the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña, before we read a poem, before we check on the out-of-town games, we have to have a word from our sponsors, and specifically from the most important sponsor we have, the sponsorist, if you will. Who is that, Louisa?
That is, of course, our beloved Dr. Gonzalez and his wonderful wood tar liquor. Folks, 70,000 patients have been cured over 15 years with it. Chronic colds, rogue coughs, abundant chest discharges, asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory ailments all cured. It helps with consumption and also bladder catarrh, which is inflammation. It purifies overhumored blood, and it whets the appetite for fattening. Not to be confused with other Dr. Gonzalez wood tar liquors, except no substitutes. And, of course, it's sold in all good pharmacies, especially San Juan's own Farmacia Guillermetti, at the corner of Calle de San Francisco and Calle de la Cruz.
Thank you very much, Louisa. I have to slightly stall while I find the post that we made just to inform everybody. We were going to try to do that and just didn't get the time to do it beforehand. You probably just
And
read that.
I'll say that the team the Malditos are up against, the Zumbadorcitos, they're my team that I made because I am a patron of the LNP. So I had the right to make a minor league team. And Zumbadorcito is the nickname for the emerald green Puerto Rican hummingbird, which is a beautiful little bird, and I wanted to name my team after them.
Yes, and as you can see, you get to decide everything from the name. You get to decide the colors you want on the uniform. I will personally consult with you and get that rolling. Usually, we have pretty productive conversations about it, and I've been trying to flex my design muscles this year a little bit with the uniforms. Your team also gets its own page in the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña website. So far, we have not gotten the time to add all of them. We're still working on that. But I will tell you right now, they're the only minor league teams that get their own pages. So,
Yeah.
if that's something you're interested in, please join up. It's only $3 a month, and you get to create a player, you get to create a team. Says Will is asterisk, asterisk, asterisk involved in this process. And then there's a winky face.
Oh no, is Will saying a swear that the chat won't show us?
Am I able to see that? I don't think I can. Interesting. Anyway, the point being, You get to design a player, you get to design a team. There's a million. Yep, sorry, didn't realize I'd be censored. Yeah, unfortunately, Twitch is a little bit more.
Oh, I see.
They scheme.
Our old friends.
It's scheme color. It can be. I have gotten hex codes from some of you, so it could be done. And the weird part is, when I say hex codes, I don't even mean colors. I mean literal curses in the poll responses.
Yeah, like go to schemecolor.com,
Yes, not a sponsor.
which is a curse in and of itself.
Exactly. That's, you can all go to hell, and I will go to schemecolor.com. As David Crockett famously said.
Uh-huh.
All right, what say we read the lineups and get this game underway, shall we?
Woo! Let's do it.
First, for the visiting Zumbadorcitos de Vieques, leading off and playing left field, number 27 from Mexico, Marcial Lopez. Batting second, then playing right field, number 14, also from Mexico, Julio Ramirez. Batting third and catching, number 35, Lidio Reyes. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 1, also from Mexico, Lorenzo Mojica. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 28, also from Mexico, Tobias Saavedra. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, number 18, also from Mexico, Eduardo Vasquez.
Is this new information to you? It seems like it's dawning on you somehow.
It is.
Okay.
And the problem is that the first words that came to mind were, this is a suspicious amount of Mexicans, which is not a thing you want to be saying in the current climate.
No, certainly not.
Exactly. But I just didn't realize that Vieques had so many of them in particular. A lot of these free agents got signed in kind of the last week, and teams were just like, you can play second base. Come on. You know, that was the atmosphere. So I'm betting that there are a lot of these teams that suddenly have, 8 Cubans sitting around. And they're just like, that. I guess that's a thing now.
With the LNP taking off, I'm sure parents who have children who show great promise in baseball, some of them at least would think, no, I don't want you to play on a local team. I want you to try to get into the system of the LNP.
Exactly, especially because you're only playing in the summer. So you can still come back, and honestly, you're probably back by, if, let's be real, a lot of these people are going to be farming at this time. You might be able to get back in time for the harvest.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 23, Gabriel Ortega. Batting eighth and playing center field, number 10, an Englishman, Dane Mayer. And batting ninth and playing first base, number 21, another Englishman, Michael Murray. And now for your Malditos de Naguabo. Batting leadoff, the designated hitter, number 37 from La Frontera, the newest country in the world as of 1907, Ryan Rodriguez. Batting second, then playing shortstop, number 1, the Canadian, Wilbur May. And hopefully Wilbur will today. Batting third and playing third base, his compatriot, number 46, Trevor Ransom, who heard me talking about his unfortunate mustache between spring training and June.
I was going to say, have we heard this guy's name before? He sounds familiar.
Batting fourth and playing center field, number 35, from Haiti, I guess French pronunciation, it would be Francisco Boucher. Do you want me to make the requisite joke, or would you prefer to?
You can go ahead and do it.
This is French for Frank Bucket, if you were wondering.
That's why you say it in French.
Exactly. Batting fifth and playing left field, number 15, Marcos Gutierrez. Batting sixth and playing second base, number 20, from Cuba, Telemaco Cárcamo. Batting seventh and catching, number 2 from Beit Hanun in Gaza, Ziad Mazin. Batting eighth and playing right field, our main Welsh prospect. Most of the rest have left the team at this point by being traded away. Number 23, Arthur Gleave. Doesn't he know that Arthur used the sword? Like, famously.
Yeah, I'm not a
Not a
glaive.
glaive.
Is that what you're getting
Yeah,
at?
not a glaive. Exactly. And batting ninth and playing third base, number 24 from Nicaragua. Special prospect Oswaldo Tlatenchi. Pitching for the Malditos de Naguabo tonight, number 30, the third Canadian on the field for the Malditos, which is interesting. You don't tend to think of them as a Canadian-heavy team, but I guess they are. Bob Pitcher, also known as Bob the Pitcher.
That's too fortuitous. That he would
I
be a
know,
pitcher,
right?
even. Yeah.
You almost wonder if that's a fake name.
Yes. I'm moving down to Puerto Rico and I'm changing my name to Bob Pitcher and I'm just gonna work in baseball.
This man has killed before, is what we're saying. Curveball.
I think I got my years wrong. I was gonna say these are your choices in 1907. You go to the Lighthouse from the movie The Lighthouse, or you go become a pitcher in the LNP. I'm pretty sure that was earlier than 1907.
I don't think lighthouse keeping changed that much until it suddenly did, so
That's true.
you might not be a million miles away. Anyway, he throws a curveball, changeup, and sinker, and this is the first game of the season, so there's nothing else to say. Let's get this game. Well, I guess we can check the weather if we want to. It is cloudy with rain in the forecast, nearly sold out crowd. Temperature is 30 degrees, wind is blowing in from right. It's time to get this game on the road. As we pan across the eastern conurbation of the island that was not there in 1907. And Marcial Lopez tries to send that one down the first baseline, but he grounds out to first. Dear Lord, Marcial Lopez is short. That's out number one on a full count pitch. The payoff was a sinker down the middle, and he grounds out to first. Next up, Julio Ramirez. One out, base is empty. And on the 2-2 pitch, flies out to left field. Marcos Gutierrez, not even bothering to take that seriously. He doesn't respect it at all. Brings it in with the fifth pitch of the at-bat, a sinker. By the way, you may be used to us letting pitchers just go as long as they can. That will not be the case in this game. Bob Pitcher and the rest of the Naguabo Malditos rotation tend to be on pretty strict pitch counts, just so you know.
Makes sense for young pitchers. You don't want to overextend them.
Exactly. Even if they are throwing, 80-mile-an-hour curveballs. Or 80-mile-an-hour fastballs, I should say. Mm-hmm. Here comes Lidio Reyes. Catcher. On an 0-2 count. Strikes him out on the curveball. Clean first half of the first for Bob the Pitcher. The Zumbadorcitos unable to get anything across as the Malditos take over at the plate against number 2, Matias Flores. Matias Flores is also from Mexico. Throws a fastball, slider, changeup, and sinker. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that I know his nickname, even though he does not officially have one.
Interesting. What are you going by? Do I get any clues?
Yes. I'm going by his red beard, is what I'm going by. This man is 100% nicknamed Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Exactly. He is facing rookie Ryan Rodriguez, who did okay in spring action. If he can get on base, he's very fast. We should expect some steals, but first he's going to have to make contact with the ball. And that, so far, has not proven amazing for him. So we'll see how this goes. First pitch to him, or rather on a 2-1 count, Ryan Rodriguez. Bouncer into the infield. Is he going to make it? He does! In his first professional at-bat, an infield single for the fronterizo Ryan Rodriguez. He makes it aboard, and here comes Wilbur May. May Wilbur? Let's see. Matias Flores giving up a hit, a single on a slider down low with a man on first and no outs. 2-0 count. May attempts to bunt and ends up pulling back to take the fastball. So it'll be a hitter's count now. 3 balls, no strikes, no outs, and a man on first. Very next pitch, May walks. A sinker inside, and the Malditos are cooking right away in their home stadium. 2 on and no outs for Trevor Ransom. Once considered one of the top Naguabo prospects, mostly for his bat. He might be what we call the last of the true bucherones.
Oh, okay.
A lot of Canadian players these days, they've kind of figured them out, but his approach specifically seems to be, for the most part, eluding, at the very least, minor league pitching. We obviously will have to see how that translates to if he ever makes the major leagues. He is currently, by the way, number 37 on the top prospects list.
Nice.
Let's see what he does here with 2 on and no outs on the 0-1 count. Ransom. That's a perfect double play ball, but are they going to get it? No. Rodriguez able to escape, move to third, and though Vasquez able to scoop up the ball at second, they are unable to make the relay. So, unfortunately, it'll be 2 on with 1 out for Francisco Boucher. He had a great year last year, and he's currently number 11 on the top prospect list. I'm going to see here briefly if Rodriguez is listed. Rodriguez is listed as number 76 for the record.
Interesting. I see number 35 there has green shoes, and I love that.
Ooh, the catcher? Yeah, he's really leaning into the color scheme for sure.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Let's see what Frank's brought to play today. On the 0-2 count, he strikes out, and Matias Flores might be about to get out of this jam. He's down on 3 strikes. And here comes the rookie, Marcos Gutierrez. One of the last-minute signings by the Navegadores at the end when they realized they traded away half the Malditos roster. Kind of needed to fill it out again. Marcos Gutierrez came over in the big trade with Seba. First pitch to him. Oh, that is almost a wild pitch, but Reyes blocks it. Runners have to stay on, and with 2 outs, runners on the corners, that first pitch is a sinker low for a ball. Let's see if Flores can work his way back into this at-bat. Very next pitch. There's a steal attempt, and Ransom is safe.
Oh, nice.
If you were betting on Trevor Ransom to get the first stolen base of the Malditos' 1907 season, first of all, stop gambling.
Yeah, this is a trick.
And second of all, go into... You should invest, really, is what you should do.
Invest in the future by giving some money to the teams here. You could get your name on a sign on one of the benches.
For a second, I thought you were trying to advertise becoming a patron, and now I'm just not sure.
No, I was going deeper into the world. I'm assuming the Malditos and the Zumbadorcitos would always like some more sponsors.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So 2 on, 2 outs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's see what Gutierrez does. 1-2. Hits it right on the line to Saavedra, and he reels it in. So the Malditos strand 2 base runners here in the bottom of the first. They might have invited their opponent to the 9th circle, but after that one, it's their fans who are in hell. We're through 1. It's a scoreless tie as Bob, the pitcher, takes over for the top of the 2nd. Bob Pitcher is more data points, by the way, that favor the idea that this is a fake name. What 20-year-old is growing that beard?
Yeah, that's a very disguise kit kind of beard, isn't it?
I'm immediately answering my own question. A Canadian 20-year-old. That's the actual answer.
And it's a shame, because I like the idea of reporters after the game saying, Mr. Pitcher, and him saying, please, Mr. Pitcher is my father.
Yeah.
Call me Bob.
Yes, in this universe, Bob Pitcher is presumably part of the John Boy's Bob Emergency video.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
We used to have Bob Pitcher. Other jokes, can't remember any good names at the moment. You get it, though.
Yes, and now we don't have pitchers. Is that where this is going? Baseball is just all hitters now?
Yes.
That's in the alternate universe where Rob Manfred got to be baseball commissioner.
Uh,
Anyway, yeah, what diseased mind could have thought up such a moment in time? Anyway, Bob Pitcher, 1 inning, 14 pitches, 1 strikeout. He faces Mojica, he faces Saavedra, and he faces Vasquez. Mojica on the first pitch tries to get that past Carcamo at second, but he's got it, throws to first, and that is out number 1. I believe we talked about this. Some of these guys are wearing red shoes, some of them are wearing yellow shoes. What do you think with the flame design on the socks? What do you think you like more?
I think last time I came down on the side of yellow, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Which surprises me, but I didn't like how the red looked with the bottom of the sock.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Here comes Saavedra. On the 0-2 count, is he going to be the second strikeout victim? He is. Pitcher gets him on a wicked changeup inside, and he just can't say no to that for some reason. Sits down. 2 Ks for Bob Pitcher as he faces Eduardo Vasquez, the shortstop, who has the most "I don't want to be here" energy I have ever seen in a player headshot.
Yeah, his lips are pursed.
I am dead serious. I don't think I've ever seen a headshot in this simulation where the player's eyes are pointed down and away from the camera.
They do those tricks like you do when you're photographing babies where you like jingle some keys near the camera, but he wouldn't look up. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I do like that we're having this kind of representation as well. This is also my energy when I get headshots taken.
Yeah, I guess. I guess this is happening.
That's why I'm the broadcast coordinator, so I can, you don't have to see my face. 2 outs and the base is empty for Eduardo Vasquez, who on the 1-2 count also strikes out. He goes down swinging. Bob Pitcher gets 2 more strikeouts, and the inning is over. The Zumbadorcitos go down without making much of a buzz.
Ooh.
I should be holding on to these jokes. Second inning is way too early to drop these.
I'm also feeling bad because they're my team and I should be rooting for them. But I just want to see what happens in this game, I think. I don't think I want to root for either team.
That's kind of the energy you have to have with a Veraniega game. Some of these... So these parks are tiny, number 1.
Yeah.
And the pitching and hitting parity is completely out of whack. So in a lot of these games, you might suddenly get 6 home runs from guys that no way in hell will they have that power when they go up to the majors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that sort of anything could happen. Nobody cares about results. Let me put it this way. The guy currently at bat for the Malditos, Telemaco Carcamo, if they cared about making it to the playoffs, they would not be playing him. He's a rookie. Now, granted, he's they expect great things out of him. He's currently prospect number 9 on the list. So eventually he will probably be a very good player, but just not right now. And that's fine. But yeah, it's just these teams are built to showcase potential. They are not really built to be how do I put this? Winning teams per se, or to care about the outcome of game-to-game bases, basically.
Makes sense.
So here we go. Carcamo, the 1-2 against Matias Flores. He sends that one to Vasquez. Vasquez has all the time in the world to get him out at first, and that is out number 1 as Murray catches it on the stretch. That was a 5-pitch at bat, ending in a changeup high and in, which Carcamo swung at. Here comes catcher Ziad Mazin, who spent the Copa Mundial as the starting catcher for the Sultanes. He comes in for his sophomore season, but his first as the starting catcher for the Malditos, after the promotion of Damianos Angelopoulos and the trading of Kieran Anderson to the Picudos, where he became their starting catcher. And if I remember correctly, hit his first home run with them after being the backup catcher for Naguabo last year.
Wow.
I'm very happy for him. He's a capable major league catcher the fact that the Navegadores were not going to be able to give him a starting job was really the main reason to ship him off somewhere else where
Mm,
Seba is such a misbegotten team. They would probably improve with him behind the plate.
okay.
So, with one out and the base is empty, here comes Mazin. He takes Flores to a 2-2 count. Sends that one. That's a long, long fly out, but unfortunately, rather a tall fly out, I should say, as it's over second base. Out number 2. And here comes Arthur Gleave to try and rescue something out of this. He hit 170 with one home run last year. That was not what we call acceptable. So we'll see if he can do a little bit better here. Gleave is sitting at, let's see here, he's 19, so he's got a few more years and already showing a lot of promise with defense in the outfield. So the question really is, can he bring the bat around in time? That's really what he has to do.
Wow, I see he's got great potential, but right now he's pretty bad.
And you can see that as he takes him to a full count, but he can't leave that one alone. And he swings
Ooh,
through the fastball to go down. The Malditos
listen,
answer a clean top of the second with a clean bottom of the second. We are through 2. Nobody wants to win this game yet.
you said you weren't going to waste all your great puns on the second inning, and then you did it anyway.
Here's the thing, I lied. Anyway, more importantly, we forgot to do one of our little rituals. After the first inning, we should have had a This Day in
Yes.
LMP History segment. These are kind of, they're not new, but bringing them back is a little bit new. So we forgot to do that. We apologize. So, Louisa, if you could hit him with the double whammy, the double historical punch at this juncture, that would be very much appreciated.
All right. On June 1st, this date in history, 1871. You know, that's right at the beginning of the LNP. Gualtiero Sosa, playing for Salinas, becomes the third player in LNP history to notch 6 hits in a single game, and the first to include a home run amongst them in a 14-13 win against the Corceles de Santa Isabel. Notably, Sosa had 4 singles and a triple to go with that home run, meaning he was a double short of the cycle. And the game went 10 innings, but Sosa got all 6 of his hits in the regulation 9. In fact, he got all of them in 8 innings. In the bottom of the ninth, with the game tied at just 13 and the winning run on third, he was intentionally walked. That's amazing.
Uh,
And
yeah,
oh,
Galterio,
yes.
we can talk about it briefly. I just think it's so cool to find little bits like that, and then get to see the game, be able to track down the box score, see everything that happened. The fact that archivists have been putting this stuff together is nothing short of a miracle. I just talk into a microphone. There are people whose job it actually is to compile all this stuff, to translate these box scores into a modern format that, doesn't include things like errors per individual player straight up in the score, or doesn't count how many outs they made, but counts the hits.
Yep, nerds. That's why you got nerds on the team.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
And also on this day, June 1st, in 1874, Guillermo Cholico goes cold, ending a 32 great game hitting streak that is still the longest recorded by a Naguabo player.
Even into the 20th century. In fact, no Naguabo player in the 20th century has recorded a 20-game hitting streak yet.
Wow, that's amazing. And this person got more than 150% of that.
His is the longest by 1 game. The year before, I believe, or maybe 2 years before, Samuel Valle, we may have talked about him. His nickname was La Gárgola because of the way he used to sit when waiting to steal. He has the second longest hitting streak at 31 games by an Naguabo player. There are longer.
Wow.
Yes, so Cholico or Cholico, if it were Cholico, it would have an accent on that O. Cholico
Okay.
this Naguabo core that started out in 1871, René Hernandez, Samuel Valle, Guillermo Chorico, the fact that they didn't do more with that core is a huge surprise, really.
Yeah, it's a shame. They were still figuring it all out, though, weren't they? All the teams were.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and no trading existed yet. We'll get to that in a bit. No, there weren't really any ways to move your roster or change it. You were pretty much stuck with the players that you had, and
Mhm.
you just had to hope that they would be pretty good that year.
Yeah.
And of course, the league was continually changing the rules to try and get to try and encourage certain behaviors and so on. So, yes,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to make sure I tell everybody that the Malditos and Zumbadorcitos are playing. Interesting.
This bridge reminds me of the Hell's Gate Bridge, which is in New York City. And I have friends who live in Queens. And visiting them where they live, it's not quite, suburban, but the buildings are like 2 and 3 stories tall. There's a lot of trees around. There's little parks and things. So it's got like a less of a city feel.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're there and then you just look up, like a little bit up to your left, and there's a bridge towering over you like this, it really makes you feel like the world's collapsing. Like you don't know where the sky is? I don't know. Makes me feel like I'm losing my mind to see a giant bridge. It's too big.
Fair enough. It's interesting that Queens is historically based on that. It's interesting that Queens is historically where Spider-Man comes from.
Yeah. I mean, he lives in like he grows up in a regular house, isn't he?
Yeah.
A regular one family home.
Mm-hmm. Which I would have been way more common in Queens, I think, in the 1960s, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
For sure. But yes, it's very silly to think about your web slinging, skyscraper to skyscraper, by definition hero, who functions in the vertical environment of the city, and he grew up in possibly the flattest of the boroughs.
You imagine him riding the train into the city so he can go around and do all his.
100%. Yes.
Great.
There's a book by N.K. Jemisin called The City We Became. It is currently I know somebody who's reading it right now, and I read it a little while ago. And it's very funny because it's like somebody wrote my joke about every borough having a different Spider-Man.
Uh-huh.
But what what really got me about this book is that it then proceeds to go that New York is the second city in the Western Hemisphere to wake up and awaken and become a living organism. The first is Sao Paulo. And then it has the audacity to say Mexico City is well on its way. Mexico City is the largest city in the hemisphere.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with
Yeah.
all that. And also, New York's nickname is the city that never sleeps, so I would say they never wake up.
Yeah. Well, I think every author has the things that they skip. And to be fair, the book implies that Tenochtitlan, had it been allowed to thrive, might have gotten there earlier.
Yeah.
But I have my doubts that that is where this is headed. Because I will also note that I think 3 of the borough avatars get confused for Hispanic, but are very much not. They make a point of saying that. And it's like, it's New York City. Who's it's an American city. Whose labor makes it run?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Anyway, back to baseball. Let's go from whose labor makes it run to whose labor makes it fun.
Boo.
That's right. Gabriel Ortega faces Bob Pitcher, who's at 22 pitches over 2 innings, 3 strikeouts. Ortega taking his first at bat of the season here. The 2-1 count launches it into the air, and it drops right in the boucher. He's got it with the one-handed catch. Out number 1.
Nice.
A sinker up, and away, and oh boy. What are you doing, Dane? Why are you here? Oh, because you're 14 years old. That's the problem.
With that mustache? Are you kidding me?
1 out and the base is empty for the world's oldest 14-year-old. What? I'm sorry. Do you mean
Wow.
to tell me? Do you mean to tell me that in Hastings they weren't growing mustaches like that back in 1907 on all the young men?
It's the Marmite. It really puts hair on your face.
Was Marmite around by 1907? This
I
is a
don't
serious
remember.
question. I
Listen,
don't know.
yes, it was invented in the Industrial Revolution, so I'm gonna say
Okay,
yes.
yes, it has to be then. Yeah. I People don't know this, but in 1907, if you couldn't grow that kind of a mustache, that's what they gave you a white feather for.
Man.
First, they used it to tickle your upper lip.
Yeah.
It's a shame you can't prevent this from happening. If only there was some barrier in the way.
Yeah. It's hell.
The outfield
War is
is
hell.
the outfield is playing Mayor Shallow. Ransom fields that one, takes it back to the base himself, and that is out number 2. Made sense to play him shallow. I mean, he wasn't going to hit it out of the park. And here comes Michael Murray, who's in similar issue. And I'm going to go ahead and guess from this man's tan that he came over, possibly worked his way onto a boat somewhere. Because he's
Yeah,
also 14 years old.
you and I say this having English family, and some of them are like this, so you meet English people sometimes who go somewhere else in the world and they're like, this is it. This is it for me. This is my whole identity now. I am absolutely 100% committed to this other part of the world. And Michael Murray seems like that kind of guy.
Fair enough. You are saying this to somebody who adopted Rochester, New York as his hometown. While Michael Murray lines out to Wilbur May at short, this game remains scoreless as the inning is over, not with a bang, but with a whimper. We head into the bottom of the third, and Canelo Flores, 2 innings, 34 pitches, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, faces the very bottom of the lineup, starting with Oswaldo Latenci. Let's see what he's got. A 3-1 count. He sends that one all the way to the wall. Oswaldo Latenci with what I have to imagine is going to be a triple. Oh my God, he was thrown out on the stretch. He tried way too hard on that one. Aggressive send there from the third base coach. And they did not predict Dane Mayer making that throw. I guess they thought he's a 14-year-old. What's he going to do? But he got the relay in on time, and they nailed him. No option there. Rough for poor Oswaldo.
Yeah, if only he stayed at second.
He shouldn't have pulled that gatillo. Gatillo is Spanish for trigger.
Okay.
Which is his nickname.
Yeah, okay.
Que Coco means plan, etc. Here comes Ryan Rodriguez, who was responsible for the other hit that the Malditos have managed here. Let's see what he does with his second turn at bat. He's 1 for 1 on the 2-2 count. He strikes out. Matias Flores has his third K of the night, and he'll face Wilbur May with 2 outs and the bases empty. Wilbur May sends it to third base. Easy there for Saavedra. Sends it to first, and the inning is over. The Zumbadorcitos take advantage of a base-running blunder from Oswaldo Latenci. He just wanted to go home. He's a third baseman. That's his whole thing. And they are able to get out of the inning without allowing a run. So this game remains knotted at 2-0 through 3. Before we continue with the middle of the game, we're going to have a word from our sponsors. Louisa, the booth is all yours.
Thank you. Folks, I want to tell you about a new and terrible gunpowder. We read in a newspaper of Paris that an extremely important scientific experiment was carried out in Vincennes by various members of the Polytechnic Institute of Paris and other scientific men. The experiment was aimed at determining the effect and power of dynamite, a new explosive that until then had only been known in theory. Dynamite has the ability to explode only when the entire quantity is in intended use has been raised to a certain temperature, and this instantaneous increase cannot be obtained except by the percussion of a blasting cap, whose vibrations create a sudden heat. With these facts in mind, let us see the tests that were performed. First, a considerable quantity of dynamite was placed on a shielding plate, and one of the men present attempted to light it with his cigar. Only a few particles were lit and immediately went out. Next, the test was repeated, and Minister Monsieur Dorian, a blacksmith, a radical Republican, and Minister of Public Works from September 1870 until the very day this issue came out, agitated the dynamite with the point of his cane. Then a blasting cap and a fuse were added, and the entire company took flight. There followed a horrifying explosion, and the shielding plate was literally pulverized. A small amount of dynamite placed in an old 12-pounder cannon was enough to reduce it to atoms. A gram of this new gunpowder pulverized an iron guardrail. Afterwards, a grenade was loaded with dynamite, and its destructive force proved enough that the grenade was reduced to almost imperceptible mites of dust. What has been mentioned suffices to demonstrate to the immense harm that can be done to the enemy with the use of this explosive. It's very interesting. There are so many tests that involve the death of everyone undertaking the test, aren't there? You see so many of those in the 20th century with radioactive materials. But
What
I
were you
suppose
reading?
a new and terrible gunpowder about dynamite.
Yes.
But I suppose the real selling point of dynamite, as this article highlights, is that it wouldn't be extremely volatile like nitroglycerin was.
Correct. Yes.
So that would be a huge improvement because nitroglycerin can just go off anytime.
Exactly. Yes. The Sorry, I was trying to remember what was the interesting historical side note, the stuff about the Minister Dorian. So this
Mhm.
entire, when translating this commercial, all I could think was, how official was this demonstration, you know?
Yeah.
And then to find out that the Minister of Public Works was there, messing with his cane,
Yeah.
poking the dynamite with it.
Hmm.
But yes, that is literally what the selling point of dynamite was. It was more powerful, but the important bit was that it, compared to previous explosives, it was incredibly stable.
Yeah.
Of course, if you store TNT remotely and properly, you will blow yourself and everything you love up. So,
Yeah, very true.
there is that. So, we're back to the fourth inning after that. Well, I guess it is quite appropriate. We are in the ninth circle of hell with the damned ones, so reading about dynamite is probably the most appropriate thing you could do.
Wasn't it cold in the ninth circle? I know it's very hot today in June in this stadium.
Wasn't it cold and I thought you said
Cold in the
called.
ninth circle.
Like,
Oh no.
yes. Uh, some parts of it were. I know that.
Is that where everyone's frozen under ice?
I think, yes, the ultimate betrayers are. Or, no, the three
Yeah.
ultimate betrayers are held in the head of the dragon, in the mouths of the dragons.
Well, that's true, yes, but lesser
Traitors.
unfortunate souls. Yes.
Yes. That was the first draft of that song from The Little Mermaid, yes.
It was about all nine circles of hell, but it was too long.
Yes. So, Bob Pitcher, 28 pitches over 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, faces Marcial Lopez, Ramirez, and Reyes. Here goes nothing. Faces Lopez first on the full count. Lopez sends that one into center field. And if you thought you were going to watch a no-hitter, sucks to be you. That's the first base hit by Vieques. And I believe, in fact, their first base runner all game. As Marcial Lopez dunks one into the outfield. Here comes Julio Ramirez. He's 0 for 1 with a man on and no outs as Bob Pitcher took 9 pitches before that hit on a curveball low and inside. We're going to start moving up our middle relief here. which, by the way, has been absolutely slaughtered. All of these guys, I believe, to be rookies, except for Owen Coates.
Wow.
So Julio Ramirez comes up on the 2-1 count. He bunts it right back to the pitcher, and it's a successful sacrifice hit. The first of the season for Julio Ramirez, as Lopez makes it over to second. With one out and the go-ahead run on second base, here comes Lidio Reyes. He's 0 for 1 as well. On the 0-2 count, Lidio Reyes strikes out on the curveball. Fourth strikeout for Bob Pitcher here. And he'll now face Lorenzo Mojica, who is 0 for 1. 2 outs, man still on second. Can Mojica do any better? Ooh, he's going out after the first pitch. He grounded out to second last time. This time he pops up, foul territory. Mazin and Ransom heading for it, and it's the Canadian who catches it to end the inning. The Zumbadorcitos get a hit, and that's it as we head into the bottom of the fourth. Trevor Ransom set to face Matias Flores here in the bottom of the fourth. Matias Flores at 3 innings, 45 pitches, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Ransom is 0 for 1 on the day. We're charging early today, and on the 2-2 count, Ransom with a shot to left field, and it's into the grotto. Mayer runs out of room. Trevor Ransom with the first home run by a Maldito this year as he sends it into the cool water. Naguabo now ahead 1-0 over Vieques. 124 meters on that home run into the left field fountain.
Woo! Exciting. I love a home run.
Exactly. So we've got a 1-0 lead there on the third hit by a Maldito. All game, Matias Flores takes his first earned run of the game and faces now Francisco Boucher. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out last time. This time he takes Flores to a full count before striking out again. He can't hold up on the sinker this time. It goes down swinging. With the bases empty and 1 out, let's see if we're gonna start enabling some tomfoolery around here. Is what we're gonna do.
All right.
Let's see here. What are we gonna put in? Are we gonna put in anybody yet? That's the real question.
It's funny. I know the game doesn't really understand the ages of players. It'll give guys gray hair if they're much older, but it doesn't really understand how to make a 16-year-old. So a lot of these guys, they have some pretty funny facial configurations.
They've seen some stuff.
Yes, true.
Now batting for the Malditos de Naguabo, Abraham Sartika from Indonesia, number 22. 1 out, bases empty for him. Sartika hits that one through the infield. He'll be on with a single. So that's got him moving. Flores, he left that fastball a little bit too in. Sartika able to jam it through the infield. And here comes Telemaco Cárcamo, who's 0 for 1 on the day. 1-1 count for him. Sartika going for second. He should be in there easily. And he's got his first steal of the season. Second by the Malditos today. With the insurance run on second base, 1 out, a 2-1 count. What's Cárcamo going to do about it? What he's going to do is line one right to Lopez in left field, and he gets a great relay throw back into the infield to prevent Sartika from advancing. Here comes catcher Ziad Mazin. He's 0 for 1 on the day, 2 outs, man on second. What can he do? Mazin, 1-2 count, and he strikes out. The Malditos, as Flores gets his 5th strikeout of the game. The Malditos unable to take advantage of that home run. Didn't shake the opposing pitcher at all. 2 hits to score that run, and they go out in front. But can they hold that lead? Abraham Sartika takes over in left field for Gutierrez as we begin the top of the 5th. Before we do that, Luis, I believe we have another historical side note.
That is correct. On this very day, June 1st, 1885, Juan Oleo, playing for Patillas, steals his 600th base, becoming the 10th player in LNP history to pilfer that many. He ended the 1885 season with 643 career steals, tied with Gerardo Miramontes of Guayama for 8th most at the time. Oleo retired in 1889, after a year in Monalvo, with 903 career steals, which gave him sole possession of 5th place. By the end of the 19th century, that number was good enough for 27th. So that's the time that stealing really took off, huh? It's amazing when you see a game. People, I guess this is true with any type of game or leisure activity. People find an exploit and they get excited about it and they really perfect it. And then other people, obviously, because that's how games work, they work to stop them from being able to do it.
I'm trying to remember who the first stolen base, the discoverer or inventor of the stolen base was. First name Ned something? Ugh.
Interesting. It's funny that it never became accepted because it's so clearly a thing where you could say, hey, this isn't allowed. You didn't earn your right to move to the next base.
Oh my god, I was right. Ned Cuthbert played for the Philadelphia Keystones in 1863 or 1865. Not
Nice.
really sure which one of them it was. So in 1868 1868 rules, pardon me. You usually could not steal unless the catcher could not bring in the pitch. Because at the time, catchers were
Like if it
bent
went wild.
over behind the plate.
Mm.
So yes, that would be when you would steal. But basically, the Puerto Ricans said, screw that. And basically allowed the stolen base in almost any circumstance. And what's interesting is really the reason that Puerto Rican players weren't stealing more career bases is there weren't enough games in a season.
Aha. Yeah, okay.
Once you get past triple-digit games in a season, now we're cooking with gas. Now we've got Puerto Rican players stealing left, right, and center. Now we've got everything. And suddenly, in the early 1880s, is when you start to see those stolen base totals go way up. Because you've got a lot of players stealing constantly. Olayo, the guy we're talking about here, he had one season where he stole 62 bases. That's not that impressive. What is impressive, on 70 attempts.
Wow. People didn't know what to make of him. He's
Exactly.
taken off.
He was just ridiculously fast and very strategic. And if you had that combination at the time, you were a lethal player. There was no stopping you.
I bet.
And again, one of the things I love about doing this day in LMP history is I didn't know who Juan Olayo was before today.
Very nice.
So that is something I have learned over the course of researching this. You get to find out the stories of these players that otherwise you never would have known. And now I know that he was a very effective table setter, would probably be the term we use these days.
Why is that?
A guy who can get on base, can run so he can steal, and so he can put himself in position where if somebody else can hit one into the outfield, that sort of thing, he can come home, he can score a run. So it gives you options. It means that the guys behind him know, I'm going to come up with a guy who's probably going to be on base. I can take advantage. I can try to take advantage of the situation here.
Nice.
So here we go. Bob, the pitcher, facing Tobias Saavedra. Pitcher is at 45 pitches over 4 innings, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. Saavedra 0 for 1 on the day. He struck out last time in the second, and here on the 2-2 count, Saavedra lines one hard, but right to Cleve in the right field, and he gets it using those legs. You know, he's not very fast on the base paths, but he is quite fast in the outfield, surprisingly.
Nice.
Great range. Here comes Eduardo Vasquez, who I think is the droopy dog of ball players.
Nickname Eeyore.
Yeah. Hello, all you happy people in the stands. I'm the shortstop. My droopy dog.
Isn't the shortstop? It's hard. It's hard to do without like holding your mouth
And
into a
also, I'm
shape.
pretty sure I watched Droopy Dog in Spanish, so
Ah, did he have a similar voice? Like his cheeks were
I
full of
don't
cotton wool?
remember. I just know that
Okay.
I watched a lot of those cartoons in Spanish. I don't even remember what he was called, if he had a different name. Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
What was I saying? It was
You were
about
saying the
Eeyore.
shortstop. Isn't the shortstop?
Oh, isn't the shortstop often team captain who has to like rally everybody? It's
He might sometimes be team captain. What the shortstop definitely is in most cases is a red ass. And that is the complete opposite of that facial expression.
yeah, that's true. That works for him. Maybe he keeps
Maybe.
calm.
Yeah, maybe that's what he does. Maybe that's why he's probably not going to make the majors. So anyway, he's over 1 on the day. He also struck out back in the second for the record. Here with the first pitch, hits it right to Ransom, who gets back to first base, steps on it, and Vasquez is out. Number 2, to be specific. Here comes Caballero Ortega, who's 0 for 1 on the day. Pitcher just mowing them down as he's past 50 now. Pitches, not age, but I can see where you would think that. 2 outs and the base is empty.
The park that makes you old.
Ortega hits that one to over May, who throws over to first. And the Malditos and the top of the fifth still ahead 1-0 as the Zumbadorcitos can't get anything going. Why do we not have an M. Night Shyamalan baseball movie? Is the question. He must be a Phillies fan.
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
Right. What are the chances that M. Night owns a Bryce Harper jersey?
I mean, maybe. He's a interesting person because you want him to be like a Tim Burton who always looks exactly like Tim Burton, like you'd expect all the time. But M. Night Shyamalan seems like he's also kind of a normal human being,
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
which is
all of his
incongruous.
all of his weirdness is in the movies. Like when people talk about a creative outlet, he lets it all out in the movies, and then he's just
Yeah,
apparently normal the rest of the time.
yeah,
You have to like periodically put him in director jail and have him do other people's movies, and then, he's sometimes not good at it. I don't really know what to make of this, but yeah, M. Night baseball movie. This is a good
yeah,
idea. I just don't know where to go from it, and obviously Ken Costner would be in it, so we'd
yeah.
have to reunite all our heroes.
Is he a coach now, or is he going to insist on still being one of the players because he's Ken
God,
Costner?
he would. Plus, it's the part that makes you old, so of course he'd be one of the players.
Oh man,
What if he just delivered the exact same speech he does in Bull Durham as he dies? He's
just
like
lying there
talking.
saying I believe in real butter and not margarine or whatever he
I
says,
I don't
whatever
believe in the
bullshit he talks
designated
about.
hitter, and I
Yeah,
believe in long, slow, hot kiss. Dies. Barf. Over.
his voice gets quieter and quieter as he shrinks into a corn cob.
I like the idea that getting old is the process of being owned. That it's the
It
same
is.
thing. Being owned just ages you.
You shrivel up like that guy who drank for the wrong grail in Indiana Jones.
That's right. Yeah. You choose poorly.
Yep.
When you reply to somebody and you own them, you then should send the six-fingered man from Princess Bride saying, "Tell me I've just taken away a year of your life. How does it feel?" Okay, here we go. Bottom of the fifth. Arthur Gleave is 0 for 1 on the day, facing Matias Flores, who at 66 pitches, I have to say, is acquitting himself very well. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. For a guy who was he pitching last year? No, he's a rookie. This is actually pretty good, honestly.
Wow.
Kind of
Yeah.
surprised. Good for him. Gleave, who struck out back in the second, goes after the first pitch, and that is a liner all the way in the left center wall. The
Wow.
Welshman should have a double, and wisely, he slides into second, says, "I'm not going any further." It's a double for Gleave on
Yeah.
that one.
Nice. That was really close to a home run. Very good.
Indeed. If he got a little bit more lift on it, perhaps. Here comes Oswaldo Tlatenchi. Speaking of doubles, his should have stayed one. He tried to stretch it into a triple and got thrown out at third last time. With a man on second and no outs, let's see what he does here. On the 1-0 pitch. Hits that one to second base, and it's thrown away. Tlatenchi. Gatillo hits it right to Ortega. He can't make it happen. Tlatenchi goes to second, and Gleave will score on the error. It's a costly one for Vieques, as Gabriel Ortega's butchery out there at the Keystone results in a 2-0 lead. That's right, the Malditos. Double their pleasure, double their fun, but most importantly, double their lead. They are now ahead 2-0 here in the bottom of the fifth. Here comes Ryan Rodriguez. He's 1 for 2 on the day. He's got a man on second and no outs. Let's see what he does. The 1-1 count. He launches one. It is another liner into the left center wall. Bounces off the wall. Tlatenchi running home in plenty of time. And Rodriguez with a stand-up RBI double as the ball is long gone by the time it is thrown to home plate. Rodriguez with the RBI. It is now 3-0 as the Malditos seem to have figured out the opposing pitcher quite well. A changeup lifted and dumped all the way in left center field. They try to stop the run there, but Tlatenchi had long crossed home plate by the time the ball made it.
Do you think they're going to switch out their pitcher?
They might. Some of these teams don't have a ton of pitchers for some reason.
Okay.
Vieques has a few. They could do it. And should, more importantly. Anyway, with Rodriguez on second and still no outs, here comes Wilbur May, who's over 1. He also had a walk earlier. Rodriguez daring to steal third, and he is safe. Ryan Rodriguez gets his first robbery of the season. He's on third, and it's 2 strikes on Wilbur May, both on changeups there. Both called strikes. That strike one, bit iffy, if I do say so myself. But here we go. Is he going to change the tenor of this at-bat right now? It's a 2-2 count. Rolls it to shortstop. Vasquez has it. He can't stop the run from scoring, so he'll take the out at first. Rodriguez scores, and the Navegadores de Malditos, the Navegadorcitos, are up 4-0.
Freudian slip.
They're right next door. It's no big deal. They own the damn team.
Yeah, they're the little brothers. The Malditos are the little brothers.
If I had just said Navegadorcitos, it would have been fine.
There you go.
Yeah. They also call them the Demoniacos and the Diablitos. Those are also nicknames for them.
That's pretty good. Goes with their flame designs.
Exactly, and their general disposition. The Malditos' game plan in most games might be best described as "Ain't we stinkers?"
So they're what was the devil's name in the comic books who was part of the Casper the Friendly Ghost universe? Not Hotfoot. Was it Little?
Maybe it was Hotfoot. I have no idea.
Okay, imagine Casper the Friendly Ghost, right?
Yes.
Just color him red and give him little horns. This is what this character was.
And he was
a little stinker.
Yeah, are you revealing that you read Casper the Friendly Ghost comics?
No. But I know of them. And I know of this one.
Okay. So I was going to say, I mean, I used to be embarrassed to admit that I read Star Trek comics, but I am recalibrating right now that I know those Casper comics exist.
Was his name Hotfoot? I have to look this up. By the way, Marmite made in 1902. We did it, folks. They had Marmite. Don't worry.
There we go. All right. With 1 out and the bases empty, here comes Trevor Ransom. He, of course, had that home run. I really wish this game would let you replay earlier parts of the game so we could take a look at that again. But maybe Trevor will just hit another one. Let's see what happens. 1 out, bases empty. On the 0-2 count, he started this whole thing, and here he ends it by chasing a sinker out of the zone, and he strikes out. That is strikeout number 6 for Matias Flores, and his reward is facing former Corcel de Santa Isabel, Francisco Boucher. He's 0-2 on the day.
His name was Hot Stuff.
Francisco Boucher has struck out 3 times today. Good to know, by the way, about Hot Stuff. 3 runs on 2 base hits. You still. Let me ask you this. Let me calibrate here. Am I
Okay.
greedy for having wanted more out of that inning?
I don't think you are because you saw the potential there.
I
So I get it.
appreciate that. I appreciate your understanding. Before we continue, so we talked last time about Juan Olayo doing interesting things on June 1st, 1885, I believe, right?
Yes,
I believe we now have a historical side note from June 1st, 1886.
that's correct. The very next year, exactly 1 year after he became the 10th LNP player to swipe 600 bases, Juan Alayo, still playing for Patillas, became the 42nd LNP player to score 1,000 runs. He ended the season with 1,046 career runs, which put him at 36th place of all time. And when he retired in 1889, his 1,259 career runs were good for 14th. By the time of La Repulsion, he'd fallen to 50th. Incredible.
Rough. A lot of guys who were around forever ended up scoring so many runs in the 1880s. And then on top of that, they just had more games to play. Juan
Yeah,
Olago
that's
had
the
to play
thing.
his first 2 seasons playing 38, 76, 76, 76, and then finally starts playing 114 games a season. These guys were playing triple digit seasons. They were playing pretty much every game, and they were basically just if you were fast and you could hit, there was no limit to how many runs you could score. I did
Do you
find
think
out.
there? Do you think there was an asterisk uh, controversy in the LNP?
Not really, because again, at the time, there would have had to be some understanding that that record books is something humans care about, basically.
Fair.
And
Yeah.
the one thing is, when you are construing this league as mostly a way for guys who fought together in a war to hang out, do something constructive, maybe, keep the wolves away a little bit. When you construe it that way, I think there's an understanding that we're not here. Like, yes, it's cool to score a bunch of runs on an opponent, but I'm not here to set a record. There were no awards until 1881. There were no campeones, that's all stars, that sort of thing. So you can kind of see the vision. You can see the
Yeah.
idea that, oh, we just are not going to care, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And then what ends up happening, right, is as the history of the league becomes more concretized, you start to see records in more things pop up. You start to see, oh, this guy hit this many home runs, but this guy's hit this many. This guy has stolen this many bases, but this guy has stolen that many more. And so, yes, there is a controversy as to era records, basically. Typically speaking, before the triple digit era is regarded as kind of its own thing.
Okay.
The triple digit era for the rest of the 19th century is regarded as its own era, and then the 1900s are separate completely. They're not even in the same ballpark, no pun intended.
You can't help those baseball puns.
No, I can't. But Olajo is the kind of player who you wonder, had he been able to play triple digit games the entire time, what could he have done? Because I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
for those of you who were at LMP Trivia last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, there is one player who scored 2,000 runs. It's
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo Casanova, El Rescate,
Mm-hmm.
the guy that I got wrong last time around.
Yep. You'll never forget him now.
I hadn't forgotten him before. I was between him and his own teammate.
That's true. You were very close to saying his name.
Exactly. I was like Gaius Mucius Scaevola, who tried to kill the Etruscan king and got his secretary instead.
Yep. That's exactly what it's like.
And I'm also left-handed, like him, so,
Important.
yes. And also I was a mouthy child, because Gaius Mucius Scaevola was about 10 when he did this. Anyway, Bob Pitcher, 5 innings, 53 pitches, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, faces Dane Mayer, Michael Murray, and Marcial Lopez. And if I were Alex Horn, I would have tried to make that something like Dane Mayer, Michael Murray, and Marcial Lopez. That was a pretty good play there from pitcher. That could have gone badly, but he grabs it, throws just in time to get him out. Although, I don't know. I would have challenged that play. Mayer looked like he actually reached before he got thrown out. He's
Yeah.
14. Maybe he just figured, I'm not even going to argue. These people are all so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
Here comes Michael Murray. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He's 0 for 1, and here on the 1-2 count, sends it right to Gatillo Tlatenchi, who throws across the board to Ransom at first, and that is out number 2, a changeup there. Next up, Marcial Lopez, 1 for 2 on the day. The only hit the Zumbadorcitos have is off of his bat. Can he get a second today? 2 outs, bases empty. 3-0 count, dangerous for pitcher here, and he gives up his first walk of the game with a sinker outside. So we're going to bring back those relief guys, make sure they're getting ready to go. As here comes Julio Ramirez to try and move his runner along. 2 outs and a man on first. Pitcher at 62 throws on the night. 1-0 count. Ramirez had that sacrifice bunt. Here he sends that one into center field. Long fly out, but Boucher waiting for it all the way. And they get out of the inning. The Malditos remain in the lead 4-0 as we head into the bottom of the 6th. For a second, given how hard that left the bat and the fact that they weren't changing the camera to show the defensive player getting it, I'm like, oh, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So here comes Matias Flores, who again, until that last inning, was actually doing quite well. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts against this team. Faces Sartica, who is 1 for 1. He had that little ratty single up the middle last time. Let's see what he does here. 1-2 count. I believe this will be strikeout number 8, and I am correct. Swings through the fastball. Strikeout number 8 for Flores, as he now faces, let's see, let's put somebody else new in. Man, we really don't have a whole lot of choices at second base. I didn't realize that. All of these guys are outfielders. Let's bring in, I think, let's do this. Now batting for the Malditos de Naguabo. Number 91, Welshman, Max Gardner. That's what a lot of my Sims were.
They really put all their stats into the outdoors, the great outdoors.
That's right. Green thumb, skilled. 10 levels of gardening. You can grow cheese plants. It was a thing.
They have hot dog trees, or was that something different?
No, I think you're
trying to
right.
remember.
I think they did have hot dog trees.
Okay.
Because basically
yeah.
any food ingredient, I think, could be grown in your garden. So I think you could get, like, lobster plants and stuff.
Great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Max Gardner is 15. Sure you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came over in the big Saba trade. He was really the centerpiece. They wanted another Welsh hitting prospect and somebody to give Arthur Gleave a little bit of competition there. And he's a possibility to play second base or shortstop. So very much the kind of guy that the Navegadores want to see here.
Give Gleave some Grieve.
Yeah,
Grieve.
yeah. Give him some Arthur Gleave. There you go.
There we go.
2-1 count with 1 out and the bases empty. Gardner with his first at-bat for Naguabo. To Vasquez. Vasquez throws it away.
Ouch.
Second error of the game. And Gardner makes it all the way to second base, where he will plant his feet.
Couldn't he have gone to third, or is that against the rules to continue on?
I think if the ball leaves the field of play, you are awarded 1 base. Is how it works.
Because he easily had the time for a third, but I understand if that's not part
If there
of it.
had been a second error on the play, I think, or if he's being challenged, I think he can advance. If the error is, if they can't bring it in at first, he goes to second, and then they try to throw it to second, and they throw it away again, he can kind of, yeah. I don't pretend to know all about this part of baseball rules, because they are genuinely very confusing. Umpires do not get enough credit for the amount of arcane knowledge they have to stash away in their heads.
Yeah.
So here comes Ziyad Mazin, who is over 2. He struck out back in the 4th with a man on second and 1 out. Let's see if he can progress the inning. On the 2-0 count, sends it into left field. That is Mazin's first hit of the season. And they're going to advance Gardner to third, 7th hit for the Malditos. And here comes Arthur Gleave, purchased from his hometown team of Cardiff. Actually, I don't know if he's from Cardiff. He's from Abergavenny.
Oh.
But he was playing in Cardiff. The Ingenieros released him from their system. He went back to Wales to play in the Crown of the Four Flowers, and the Malditos said, hey, we'll have you.
Uh-huh.
So he sailed back. I don't even know if it's physically possible for him to have sailed back to Wales and then come back to Puerto Rico in the time in 1906. Suspicious.
Across the Atlantic from New York was like a month, I think. So I have to imagine it'd be more than that to come up from the island.
I think it was usually 6 weeks was the going rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So you've got 2 on, runners on the corners with 1 out for Arthur here. He takes him to a full count, and then, well, no pulling the sword from the stone this time, guys. He hits it to the shortstop. But Ortega, because he doesn't want to throw the ball away, hangs on to that ball, doesn't go for the double play, and Gardner is able to score. So it's 5-0 now. Cleve does get the job done as he reaches on first in the fielder's choice and brings in a run. Plus a good at-bat, 6 pitches. It took the pitcher a long time to get that out. Flores is now at 102. Here comes Latenchi. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Let's see who we're going to bring in. Fernandez, I think, was still warm. Latenchi, 1 for 2 on the day. 0-2 count. And he swings through it. Matias Flores has his 9th strikeout of the game. The Malditos score another run, and they make it 5-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. Before we continue with the bottom third of the game and put Gardner, at second base, we are going to have another word from another of our wonderful sponsors. Louisa, the booth is all yours.
Thank you. Folks, I want to tell you about books of great merit that you should know of. The important and very famous works announced in issue number 20 are only being sold through the end of the month at the following prices. The Deputies, sketched according to their deeds in 3 voluminous tomes, including 360 3-color portraits. Universal Gallery, with biographies and portraits of all of the globe's celebrities from 1848 to the modern era, 1871, 2 volumes in folio, and 240 images. The most notable of women from Eve to 1870, with 66 2-color portraits. Pius IX and Vittorio Emanuele, or the struggle between temporal power and Italian unity, with illustrations of Italy's best-known skylines and monuments, as well as portraits of its most famous personages both in antiquity and modernity. Unique History, published up to the day of the September Revolution, with biographies and portraits of the mother country's 2 liberators. And History of the Mexican War, with a review of historical events occurred since it was reconstituted as a federal republic, and accompanied by 30 beautiful photographed images. I know I said at the top the prices would be included, but they were not. So that's how it goes sometimes in a newspaper print ad, because once you make a mistake and send it to the presses, you certainly cannot call it back. You gotta figure in the 1870s, having photographs or even illustrated pictures of any kind in a book would be pretty amazing. I think of stories like Laura Ingalls Wilder would talk about the few books that her family had when she was growing up in that time period. Well, a little later, but how she would just look over the same photos again and again, because that's what she had access to. You really have to wonder what they look like. That one book. The most notable of women, from Eve to 1870, with 66 two-color portraits. That seems a little bit salacious, doesn't it? You have to figure it's a bunch of made-up stories about, like, Queen Cleopatra. I have to wonder what unique history is about. But it doesn't say. But biographies and portraits, of course, that's important.
I'm sorry, what are we discussing?
We are discussing books of great merit. And I was saying, they all mentioned having pictures, which I'm sure was very important at the time to see these world locations and these famous people. Mm-hmm. But it does say at the beginning of the ad that it has the following prices, and that it doesn't list any prices. And I was saying,
Classic.
It's funny when you send something off to the printers at the time, you can't recall it and say, no, I need to change something. I forgot to put the prices in.
There's a very real possibility that is my mistake.
Well, you don't have to say that.
There are two different book commercials that were printed at this time. One of them is laid out as a table. Mm-hmm. So it's got rows, right? And each book has its price listed on its individual row. And then there's this one, which was done as a list. So I think I may have...
Well, you know what? They can take the blame. We can imagine these booksellers made their mistake with the newspaper.
Yes. Finally, booksellers get it in the neck like they deserve.
They've had it too good for too long.
That's right. Finally, somebody takes them down a peg. I'm very sorry. Speaking of things that I probably shouldn't admit on air, it would appear that this is minor and I'm fine, but part of my face is bleeding, and it's kind of throwing me off. We're good. It's fine. I've wiped it off. We're okay. It's not continuing to come out.
Okay.
I must have, maybe I don't know, knocked something on a door or something like that. I don't remember it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Too busy thinking about baseball.
That's right.
Where Bob, the pitcher, is at 64 pitches of 6 scoreless innings, over which he's allowed just 1 hit, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. He faces Reyes, Mojica, and Saavedra here in the top of the 7th. Reyes, who struck out last time, he's over 2 on the night. On the 1-2 count, he strikes out again. Bob pitcher gets his 5th strikeout on the night on his curveball, which he actually dipped into the bottom of the zone to get the chase. Well done there. Here comes Lorenzo Mojica, who's 0 for 2 on the day with 1 out and the bases empty. He popped out last time, foul. This time on the 1-2 count, he strikes out on the sinker. Bob pitcher with back-to-back Ks here in the top of the 7th, getting swinging strikes on both, as here comes Tobias Saavedra, 0 for 2 as well. 2 outs, bases empty. It's a 2-2 count. And he strikes out. Bob pitcher strikes out the side. And Vieques goes down swinging here in the top of the 7th. He finished him off with a high changeup to get that out. And Bob pitcher now has, 7 strikeouts on the night? 7 strikeouts, 7 innings. That's my favorite sequel to 7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
When they all start baseball teams.
Yes, exactly.
They don't have enough players, don't they understand? 7's not enough for a team.
Exactly. I mean, again, give Rob Manfred time. He'll get there.
Fewer people you have to pay. Here's the thing. If you had to eliminate 2 players from a team, which 2?
Are you being Grandpa Simpson right now? There are too many positions in baseball. Please eliminate 2. P.S.
I'm
I am
not a
not a
crackpot.
crank. Uh, dang. This is a good question. Let's see.
I'm thinking the either the shortstop or center fielder, because one of those guys could kind of do that job, right?
One of the other guys, you mean?
No, I mean get rid of one of those guys, and the other one
Oh,
can kind of cover all of that.
yeah. I mean, they did start out as the center fielder was originally the long stop. That was kind of his thing. So yeah, theoretically, the thing is the
Okay, now we're down to
shortstop.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
shortstop.
if you remove the center fielder,
Yes.
I think you could theoretically, you might be able to get away with this. The least useful defensive position, to the point that it is underrated as one, is first base. If you could train
Interesting.
pitchers to run over and cover every play,
Oh wow.
then you have an option there.
Okay.
Or second base could run over and cover, but basically, there are 2 pitcher, catcher, and second base can technically all try to run down to cover first base, right? So,
Okay.
of all the ones that you can eliminate, I think that's the one that causes the least impact. The one problem, though, is that basically means you have to hold the runner on first while standing in the middle infield. So it does make
Yeah.
stealing an interesting proposition.
Yeah, that does sound tricky. Now, I thought you were going to say something like left field, where it's unlikely someone's even going to hit over there. So even if some hits get through because no one's over there, maybe that's not so bad. But I'm surprised to hear first base.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think there are any good options at this point,
Yeah.
basically. But it would certainly increase the importance of a rangy fielder that
Yes.
he could go basically anywhere. All right, now pitching for the Zumbadorcitos de Vieques, number 30, Balbino Adame, who is Dominican. He will
Oh, a new
face,
guy.
yeah, he will face Ryan Rodriguez. Actually, he will not. We're gonna switch him out. We've got plenty of other guys we can go to here.
Try to drive out that score, really embarrass them.
Nah, just for funsies. We're actually putting in worse guys, so
Jensen. That's not a
that's
real
right.
guy.
Exactly. Another guy from the Max Gardner trade, Norwegian number 8, Jens Jensen. Do you think he and Bob Pitcher had the same fake ID generator? The same guy who made both of their papers?
Yeah, once you get off the boat at the port in Puerto Rico, there's a guy who's just like, your name? What do you want your name to be now?"
You're
"I've got a
Norwegian?
typewriter."
Jens, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Bottom of the 7th. Dame, by the way, did not check what he throws. He's also not good at it, but he throws a fastball, slider, changeup, and sinker. This should be interesting. Just a shade of 15. Let's see what he can do against Jensen. 2-0 count. And Jensen answers with a hit down the line into left field. That's going to be a single. Nicely done. Jensen getting a single in his first professional. Actually, no, wait. I think he was on Seba last year. No, he's a rookie. He wasn't. What's up?
I said, "Seba."
Right. I forgot that this was a joke that you were trying to start last broadcast.
It's not so much a joke I'm trying to start as what I hear in my head every time you mention Seba.
Fair enough. Yeah, Jens Jensen. I mean, his name could be truly ridiculous. It could be Harry Hole.
Classic.
By the way, in the first Harry Hula book, they actually do phonetically render his name because an Australian gets it wrong. They call him Mr. Holy, and he corrects it, and they spell it out, Hula.
Doesn't it mean hell or
It
something?
does
Like,
mean
isn't it a
hell, yeah.
geographical
It's Harry
feature?
Hill. Yep.
Why not? Why not just go ahead
Uh,
and change it to hell?
I'm going to tell you right now why. Michael Fassbender definitely demanded it stay whole. That is not a normal man.
I mean, fair enough.
So Jens Jensen is over there on first with no outs, and here comes Wilbur May. He's over 2 with a ribby today. What's he gonna do? He had a walk last time. Ooh, he sends that one into right center, but it's caught by Mayer. He's got it in plenty of time. He's the mayor of center field out there. Okay. I can admit when it's bad.
Uh-huh.
I'm admitting that it's bad right now, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Trevor Ransom comes up next. He's 1 for 3. He had that dinger that started the scoring for the Malditos. He faces Adame with a man on first and 1 out. 1-0 count. There goes the steal. Jensen running for second. He's there in plenty of time, and he gets a steal. Daring moves from the rookie here, I gotta say. On the 2-1 count, Ransom hits it to the shortstop, Vasquez, who commits his 3rd error of the game. He just cannot keep it together. Maybe that's why he's so sad. He just knows he's out of his league. He's just overmatched. And here comes Francisco Boucher, who is 0 for 3. 2 on, 1 out. To account, Boucher, line drive, center field. That's going to score a run as Boucher has an RBI double. The Navegadores are now ahead 6-0.
Amazing.
We'll watch the replay here. Nicely done. Put it right into no man's land. Not really possible for anybody to get there immediately, and that's exactly what you got to do. If you need to score exactly 1 run, that's a good way to do it.
Score exactly 1 run and call the police.
Please. Yep. It is the weekend.
Yep, there we go.
Here comes Sartika, who's 1 for 2. What we're revealing here is that I think there is a world in which I think Drill is not a capable baseball commentator, but like a beloved one. Like a bunch of those guys that don't really make any sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I believe, I think I've shown you this. Skip Carey once asked the San Diego Chicken, why did you cross the road?
Uh-huh.
Which...
Did the chicken answer?
I have no idea. I only know the first one because it shows up as a loading screen in this simulator.
Nice.
Man on second and third with 1 out for Sartika, who's 1 for 2. And on the 1-2 count, that is a ripped line drive right to the wall. Ooh. They're going to have to launch that ball very quickly. Sartika is not a slow runner. What is going on right now?
What is going on?
It is a triple. Sartika with a 2-run, 3-base hit. The score is now 8-0 for Naguabo. He hit that one hard. Dang.
Yeah, really. Clipped right through the wall.
Yep. Confused the heck out of the outfielders there. Had to get the relay in, and he was on third long before that ball was making its way back. So, with a man still on third and only 1 out, here comes Max Gardner. He's 0 for 1 on the day. And on the full count, he draws a walk. It's a free ride as that fastball falls away. Here comes catcher Ziad Mazin, except we're also not going to let him take this at-bat. We're going to switch him out for current top prospect. I'll get you the number in just a second here. Let's see here. I know he is one. Just got to get the number. Number 45, Huáscar Tanguma. Tanguma de Cuba. Huáscar, by the way, is an Inca name. Why a Cuban has it is beyond me. And I will say, after all the guys that look weird for their age, I have seen 18-year-olds that look like this.
Yeah, that kind of tracks.
Granted, I don't know if I've seen a lot of ball players at 18 years old who look like this, but who knows. He faces Adame with runners on the corners and 1 out. And on the 0-1 count, Tanguma launches it right field. And... Dios mío! Huáscar Tanguma on the second pitch he sees in pro ball launches it over the right field wall. It's a 3-run home run, and the score is now 11-0.
Incredible.
Absolutely nailed that one.
Yeah.
Number 39, who's got, like Pablo Salmerón before him, a little bit of thickness to him. So
Nice.
you can tell what kind of archetype the Navegadores want in their catchers. Left-handed Cubans who can hit. And that means they're switching the pitcher again. Now pitching for the Zumbadorcitos, number 8, Eurialo Martinez. He starts out facing Cleve, who's 1 for 3 with a ribby. 1 out, base is still empty. Or rather, base is still empty, but still only 1 out. Cleve here against the lefty. Hits it right to third base. I don't think that's going to go well. Indeed, it doesn't. Saavedra has it, dives for it, throws to first, and clanks it off the glove of the first baseman, Murray. So things just going very wrong here for Vieques in the bottom of the 7th as Oswaldo Latenchi comes up. He's 1 for 3 on the day. 1 out, 1 on. And on the 0-1 count, Latenchi launches that one into left field, but it's actually caught by Lopez there on the track. That'll be out number 2, and it's up to Jens Jensen to follow up that performance where he hit a double, or pardon me, hit a single, stole second, and scored a run. Let's see what he wants to do here. Man on first and 2 outs. 0-1 count. Jensen with a roller to the pitcher. That should be... He does get thrown out just barely, but the Malditos put across 6 runs here in the bottom of the 7th, and they now take a commanding 11-0 lead into the 8th. Before they do that, however, we're through 7 innings, and it's time for a poetry reading. Now, the last time we favored you with poetry from some of the most famous Puerto Rican poets, this time we were looking specifically for poetry about the town of Naguabo. And so we took a look at the magazine of the Instituto de Cultura Puertorriqueña, the Puerto Rican Cultural Institute, and found a poem in their issue from July to September 1964. I'm gonna try to add some context after I'm done here, but what you need to know is this is a man named Jose Emilio, that is one word, not Jose Emilio, Jose Emilio Gonzalez. And I have divided this poem into 2 parts because the line that this ends on could not be, well, frankly, we should have scheduled it during a Navegadores game as opposed to a Malditos. You'll see what I mean. This is Naguabo, parte 1. De Río Blanco se baja, por Peña Pobre se sube. Al este palpita el mar y al oeste vibra el yunque. Naguabo es el corazón clavado en el mismo cruce. Es una estrella acostada que se cansó de las nubes. Puso la rodilla en tierra y se durmió entre 2 luces. Tiene otro nombre, Dajao, voz de indígenas relumbres, voz de Caribe y pirata que en la historia se hizo ilustre. Naguabo, frontón de guerra, selva de espadas y cruces. Dime, Naguabo, al oído, ¿cuál es la dulce costumbre de tus calles? ¿Por qué son tan anchas? ¿Por qué las urdes tan espigadas y enteras? ¿Por qué me parecen cumbres? Cuando la tarde se deja pescar en tu red de luces, ¿por qué se me pone el rostro dorado con tus azules? And that last stanza says, when the afternoon allows itself to be caught in your fishing net of lights, why does my face turn golden in your blues.
Mm.
And after all, what are the Navegadores' colors? Sapphire and gold.
Mm. Lovely.
Incredibly perfect. This is a very interesting. Jose Emilio Gonzalez wrote poems about Fajardo, Ceiba, and then I think he wrote about other towns in the area, Humacao and so on. But this Naguabo one, when I saw that stanza ending line, it's not the last line of the poem. It's otherwise mostly just saying, de Río Blanco se baja, por Peña Pobre se sube. Those are just neighborhoods in Naguabo. Dahao would have been the Taino name. Al este palpita el mar. To its east is the beating sea, and to the west is el yunque, right? So the point of the poem is that Naguabo is this crossroads between the sea and the rest of the island.
Mm.
That it's between all of these other towns.
Mm.
And then yeah, to just hear that last part, I said, all right, it's too bad that it's not a Navegadores game, but we got to read this.
It's very good.
Maybe I'll read
Very
it again
appropriate.
next week. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to the game. It's the top of the eighth. Bob, the pitcher. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Faces Julio Lopez, number 44, now pinch hitting. Ooh, things could get interesting. This guy is actually a pretty capable hitter. He had an on-base percentage of 407 last year. So I know Will was semi-joking when he said, here's where Vieques turns it around, but it could happen.
Yep.
So here we go. First pitch, Lopez hits it right to first base. Ransom comes off the base, throws to pitcher, and that is out number 1. Next pinch hitter is number 9, Marcos Rios. Now he has a career batting average of .226. He has not been nearly as effective, but this is the LVP. Anything can happen. 1 out, bases empty. He takes pitcher to a 2-2 count, and that is a base hit. The first they've gotten since Marcial Lopez put one across in the 4th inning. They've gone 4 innings without a base hit, for real. Rios holds on for the single, and they bring up... Why would this be the person you go to in this situation? They bring up number 7, Englishman, 14-year-old Kennedy West.
So good, that little mustache. Oh, man.
And the statistics are even better. When you've got 1 out and a man on first, I know I want the guy whose contact rating is an 8 out of 100.
Oh,
I know you probably don't have a whole lot of choice, but come on.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to confuse everybody.
Well, it didn't work. He takes him to a full count and then gets struck the heck out on a sinker up and in. Next pinch hitter is number 19, Oscar Anaya. Let's see what he does. 1-1 count. Hits that one right to Ransom. He steps on the base, and that is out number 3. So the Zumbadorcitos have 3 outs to try and turn it around. And, well, doesn't matter, but I guess they better hope the Malditos don't score any more runs here in the bottom of the 8th. Here comes Wilbur May to lead it off against Eurialo Martinez. Eurialo Martinez has pitched 2 innings and so far done okay over those 5 pitches. Let's see what Wilbur May, who's over 3 with a run batted in, has to say about that. 1-0 count. May lifts it into right center, and we are off. That's his first hit of the ball game, as Ramirez unable to get there in time. And oh no, Eurialo Martinez was injured on the play for some reason, even though all he had to do was stand on the mound. But apparently his back is in trouble. They're taking him out of the ball game.
Wow, that's not good.
That's really unfortunate. New pitcher, number 25, Jean Olivier. Don't let him fool you. He's Venezuelan. He faces Trevor Ransom, who's 1 for 4, with a man on and no outs. Ransom, that's Not a wall pitch. Reyes is able to keep that ball in front of him. As, by the way, forgot to mention that number 17, Fernando Barbosa, is taking over at first base. Marcos Rios taking over at left field. Number 44, Julio Lopez, taking over at shortstop. Oscar Anaya, number 19, taking over at second base. Is there anybody else who's changed? I think that's it. So here we go. Ransom on the 2-0 count. Hits that one hard, hits that one deep, and hits that one out of here. Woo. Trevor Ransom with the third home run for the Malditos in this game. It is a 13-0 lead. Trevor Ransom becomes the first Maldito to 2 home runs on the season. This time, it's 132 meters. That is
incredible.
132 meters is 433 feet.
Dang.
He hit that one a long way.
Was that the first home run in this game that had man on the bases?
No.
Or a man on the A base?
No.
Okay.
There was Tanguma hit a 3-run homer earlier. He hit
okay. Okay. Somehow I missed that. That was 3 runs. Wow, okay.
That's how they went from 8-0 to 11-0.
Makes sense.
Boucher comes up next. He's 1 for 4 with a ribby. Poor Olivier, obviously not ready here. He came in as an injury replacement, and on the 1-1 count, ugh. Boucher launches that one, and I think this one is... Wow! Did he do it? No, he didn't. Back-to-back jacks for the Malditos, and it is 14-0 here in the bottom of the 8th.
You felt sorry for him, but you shouldn't have, because he did great.
For Boucher?
Who are we talking about?
I was talking about the left fielder. I thought he had just robbed the home run.
No, I mean before that, when the at-bat was starting. You're like, I feel bad for him.
Oh, no, for the pitcher. Olivier.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, he had to come in as an injury
replacement.
He's not ready, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Very unfortunate. No, Boucher is almost certainly, well, is he 22? I think he is. No, he's 21, so he could theoretically spend this year and next year developing. He may skip next year. He may be back and he may be in the outfield, but we'll see. Chances are pretty good that what happens is he either replaces, either Jake Getman moves over to right field, back over to right field for a year, or Boucher might train as a right fielder and then pick up that slot on the Naves.
Okay.
Anyway, here comes Sartica, who's 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in on the day. And on the 3-0 count, what's he going to do? Draws a walk on 4 pitches, a fastball and 3 fastballs and a sinker. Olivier throws a fastball, changeup, sinker, and cutter. And he'll now face...
If the pitcher gave up 3 runs to no outs, and then he walks a guy, don't you pull that pitcher at that point?
They don't have a whole lot of choice left, is the problem.
Fair enough.
That's mostly what it is. Somebody has to pitch this inning, so you might as well.
Yeah.
And he's only actually...
I mean, it doesn't matter now, really.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
And he's only really thrown 10 pitches, so he's been quite efficient in giving up those 3 runs. So now that it's 14-0, here comes Max Gardner. He's over 1 on the day, and he will draw another walk. His second walk of the game, by the way. And remember, he came in as a pinch hitter. Here comes Huáscar Tanguma, who has a chance to do the funniest possible thing. He's going after the first pitch. And he grounds out to Lopez. It's a fielder's choice. Gardner out at second. Tanguma makes it to first and Sartica to third to bring up Gleave. He is 1 for 4 on the day. He has a chance to do the funniest thing ever. He's going after the first pitch, and why not? Might as well try it. Ooh.
Well.
Olivier is starting to figure it out here. As they throw to second. No relay there, but Gleave reaches on a fielder's choice. So here comes Latenchi as the last chance for his ball club to make some noise here in this inning. Can he do it again? Notice, by the way, that they have scored 5 innings in a row here.
Yeah, really.
Ladenchi, 1 for 4. Let's see if he wants that second hit. Let's see how bad he wants that second hit. First pitch for him again. Ladenchi puts it up the middle. It escapes, and that is 15-0. Lopez gets over to field it. Sartica scores on the RBI single, and the Malditos are now up by 15 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. I think they may have heard Will talking crap.
Wow. It's amazing to see 15 hits and 15 runs. They're really doing everything right.
They sure are. Let's pile it on, shall we? We are going to bring in, let's see, who do I want to see here? Just because I want to have to pronounce his name.
It's a heck of a name.
Now batting for the Malditos de Naguabo, number 21, Dragoljub Chubrilovic.
Nice.
2 on, 2 outs, and a 1-0 count. And Chubrilovic hits that one. It falls. Glebe goes to third, Latenchi to second, Chubrilovic to first. By the way, his nickname is El Yunque. The Anvil.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
I don't know what that means.
You hit an anvil really hard. Does that have anything to do with it?
I assume it means he's an immovable object.
That
Maybe he
also
like
makes
takes.
sense.
Maybe he gets hit a lot, like plunked with the pitches.
Could
He
be.
just kind of stands there in the batter's box, come what may.
Maybe
Hey.
it's hard to knock him down.
Maybe. Speaking of come what may, Wilbur May, 1 for 4 on the day with a run batted in. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Again, this could still get funnier. 3-1
Wilbur
count.
May.
And Wilbur Will walks specifically as he walks in a run. Latenchi takes
Incredible.
third. Glebe scores. Chubrilovic makes it to second. Naguabo is now up 16-0. Here comes Trevor Ransom, who's 2 for 5. Both of those hits are home runs, and he has a chance to become the second Naguabo player to have 3 home runs in one game in 1907.
Ooh.
2-2 count. Ransom has scored 3 times, and he strikes out Jean Olivier after giving up 5 runs on 5 hits. Manages to strand the bases loaded and save himself from complete embarrassment as we are through 8 innings. Do we have one more historical tidbit before we see whether Vieques can turn it around?
We do. We have another tidbit from June 1st, 1886, which we just talked about in the last tidbit. So at that same time, this was happening. Carlos Chavez, El Disparate, also playing for the Pescadores de Salinas, strikes out 16 in an 11-inning outing against the Termales de Coamo. It was his 7th time striking out 15 or more in a game, but his first since 1884, when he did it 6 times.
Yep, he did it a lot. Carlos Chavez.
Incredible.
Carlos Chavez, I believe by far, has the most strikeouts in the 19th century. Also, by the way, Will says if the over-under was set at 15.5, who would have taken the over? Not me, because I don't gamble.
Oh, well, you fell for his trap. He was waiting for that.
So, Carlos Chavez retired with 4,638 strikeouts over 18 years. 19. The next closest, well, I say he retired. Carlos Chavez died in La Repulsión. Unfortunately, he was conscripted. Most Puerto Rican men were, and served in the army during the U.S. invasion. Next closest to him is Felipe Esquivel, who pitched for 3 more seasons and racked up 4,246. Nobody else is over 4,000. And then we mentioned how many times he struck out 15 in one game. That was actually his last 15 strikeout game, but that's because there wouldn't really be very many after that. After 1886, Amancio Luna and Neron Jimenez, who were teammates, did it in July of 1888. Santiago Navarrete did it once in 1890, and Rolando Soto did it once in 1890. And the fun part about that is that neither one of those dudes was a particularly good pitcher. Serrano, Luna, and
Okay.
Jimenez were. Chavez certainly was. But towards the end, Rolando Soto was an absolute crap pitcher. The fact that he has a 15 strikeout game should embarrass the hitters that he struck out in that game. They should feel bad about themselves.
Yeah. Now, I do have to ask about this pitcher.
Mhm.
His nickname. Now, the English word disparate would mean like something you don't compare things to, but I looked this up, and is it true that the Spanish term is like a folly, a mistake?
Disparate nonsense is probably the closest idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, why would that be his nickname?
apparently his delivery was very strange. And it just made no sense how he could pitch so well, but that's why he could fool hitters.
Wow, okay. It really worked out for him, I
Yeah.
guess.
His coaches didn't know what to do with it either. They would try to kind of tell him, like, maybe you should do this and so on. And he'd be like, no, trust me on this. Just let me do my thing. You're not going to be better than me. The man won, I believe, 7 Excelentissimos.
Dang.
It's the record,
You really
as far as I
can't.
know.
Yeah, you really can't tell him what to do.
And he was one of 2 pitchers to win 2 Triple Crowns in the 19th century. The other was Neron Jimenez. He won it. They both won it in 1895, which I think I want to say exactly 10 years later, both pitchers won the Triple Crown in their leagues again. Ezequiel Vasquez and Rafael Garcia. Either in 1905 or 1906, they both won the Triple Crown.
Interesting. Okay.
The Triple Crown is when you lead your league for pitching, is when you lead your league in wins, earned run average, and strikeouts.
Okay.
Because those were the 3 stats that would get reported in the newspaper every week.
Mhm.
For batters, it's when you lead in average, home runs, and runs batted in. As far as I know, only one LNP player has ever won the batting Triple Crown, and it was all the way back in 1871. Gustavo Ramos on the Macabeos de Trujillo Alto won the Triple Crown for 1871, and then he was never that effective again. His average was north of 400, I know that, and he hit 5 home runs, and that led the league.
Okay.
Some guys I know in the Cuban leagues, I believe Seamus Armstrong did it last year.
Mhm.
But he hits incredible amounts of dingers. The man is a machine. So in his case,
Nice.
it's a lot more understandable, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Bob Pitcher has 3 outs to get this done. He is through 8 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts and a walk, 2 hits to go with it. 97 pitches, so unless he gets the next 3 outs on 1 pitch apiece, this will not be a Maddox, but he can still go for the shutout. Santiago Vasquez, number 37, is pinch hitting first up. Let's see what he's got. The Zumbadorcitos would have to make a hell of a comeback here. And the umpire is helping out as he calls that curveball a strike. It's not, but they'll take it. Here comes Julio Vigil, number 20. Can he do any better? Ooh, he goes after the first pitch with 1. Wow! Vigil nails it, and I want to say that's going to be the first extra base hit we've seen from Vieques.
Wow, okay.
Okay, they've
Showed
got
some
some fight
fight.
to them. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
2 base here in the top of the 9th, and look at this name. Julio Vigil, by the way, is Venezuelan. Santiago Vasquez is from Mexico. And here, number 67, Goliat Valencia, is also Venezuelan. He comes up. Let's see what he can do here with a man on second.
He's
and 1 out.
another guy is probably called Canelo.
Maybe, yeah. I want to say Canelo, I think, is a more Mexican nickname than anything else.
Okay,
I think
interesting.
each country kind of has its own thing. But
You know,
he could be.
it's very funny. I was just listening to a podcast the other day where they're talking about the Spice Girls, and they said When Ginger Spice, when they came to the United States, they started calling her Sexy Spice, and I think it's probably because people just don't call redheads gingers in the United States, which is true.
And then South Park ruined that for everybody.
Well, sure.
Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense, actually. Man on second with one out as Valencia hits that to a shortstop. May has it, throws over the first, and that's out number 2. Valencia couldn't run that down, and here comes Lorenzo Mojica. Will he be the last out for his ball club, or can he at least avoid the dreaded shutout? Man on second with 2 outs. 2-2 count. Lorenzo Mojica strikes out on the sinker to give pitcher his 10th strikeout of the game. Bob Pitcher pitches a complete game shutout, and Naguabo roars to life in this first game, winning it 16-0.
Amazing. Incredible game.
What a heck of a game.
That graph, we haven't seen a graph like that in a long time.
No, we have not. Pitcher hurled 9 scoreless innings, allowing just 3 hits. And to be fair, slightly, right?
Mhm.
Actually, only 3 of the 16 runs were unearned, believe it or not.
Okay, interesting.
So, if not for the errors, this would have presumably still been a 14-0 game.
Yes. I mean, those home runs, what can you do about that, really, right? As a
Exactly.
pitcher, once you've let it go.
Exactly. And Matias Flores, did what he could, but you get to 105 pitches in this league, they're gonna pull you. No reason to leave you in there in a game that you're losing 5-0. But of course, they then brought in Adame, and that's where things just spiraled out of control. Um, Danguma hit his 3-run homer off of Adame, right? Then you've got Aurelio Martinez coming in. He did his best. He got injured. They put in Olivier, and he gives up 4 runs, 3 walks, a mess. He gives up 2 home runs. He gives up the second Ransom one and the Boucher one. So if you're the Malditos, you've got to be feeling great coming out of this game. You're like, holy cow, we
Mhm.
really showed what we can do here.
Yep.
The question is going to be if they run roughshod, because divisions are self-contained in this league. You don't play teams in other divisions. You only play the 12 teams that are in your division with you.
Hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see if other teams say, okay, clearly this isn't working out. Let's cut the dead wood. These guys who are just not producing and so on, we don't think we're going to develop them very well. Let's get rid of them. And that
Yeah.
kind of roster churn could be interesting in the future because a lot of those guys are not going to be particularly good players. And right now, there is every incentive to stockpile high potential young talent because if you can't develop it, you can almost always trade it to a team that has the time to play him and let him get good.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Do you have any
It's
final?
good to have those
Yeah, any.
assets.
Absolutely, yes. I would be shocked if we don't start to see. It says, "Will, wow, that was sad." Well, not if
Yeah.
you're a Malditos fan, it wasn't.
Yeah. I'm sad that the Zumbadorcitos did so poorly, but they're young. It's the start of the season. I'm sure they'll turn it around soon.
That's the hope, anyway. Next week we are off again, because unfortunately I have to pick up some side gigs. Um, when your car and your dog break down within a couple weeks of each other, it tends to cost you an arm and a leg. So I am picking up something on next Friday, but it's a one-time thing. So we'll be back 2 weeks from today with Navegadores broadcast. And then probably the week after that, we should be on a pretty consistent schedule after that. The week after that, we're going to try to be in the Veraniega again to watch Zizi Plo and Yauko take on some opponent. We'll figure that out when we get there. We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. And after that, we'll rotate around the league. We'll keep with the Navegadores. We'll see what we do. Maybe we'll even take a detour and hit up the Cuban leagues or something. Might be fun. Good night, Will, and I guess I should say this has been, as always, Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. Gente, buenas noches, gracias mil y Dios les bendiga.